Lodge in Barre, Vermont. Green Mountain Wrestling continues on with WinterSlam. Peter DeLonge here with you on the call. And here's a man who hasn't been in Green Mountain Wrestling since May of 2023 at our return show entitled The Beginning, which you can go back and witness on our YouTube page. Check it out, hit the like, hit subscribe, and see all of our past events on the YouTube page. Plenty in our archive, including this man going one-on-one with Sigma, having the very first matchup in the new era of Green Mountain Wrestling, and what an incredible match it was. I would highly suggest going back to check it out. The Rabid Honey Badger, Ryan Mooney, always a pleasure to call this guy in the ring, always exciting, and love to see him in Green Mountain Wrestling. But he is going up against a man who is making his debut. He is a dangerous man. He is a man with a reputation. And he is a man who I would never want to see across from me in the ring. He is cold, he is calculating, and he is vicious. Mike Skyros, the Moonlight Son. I've been calling this man's action for nearly 10 years. He's coming up on his first decade in the business. And back when he was trained by Brute Van Slyke in the Brute Dojo in Syracuse, New York, he was just as vicious back then, and it's only gotten worse. Or I mean better, depending on how you look at it. But for his opponents, it's gotten worse. He started out as a tag team specialist, broke away from the division, dabbles back in it every now and then, but he has really found his niche in the singles division. His ability to absolutely pick apart his opponent is unmatched. The guy has been in the ring against guys like Ichiban, Sean Carr, Kevin Blackwood, Warhorse, Edith Surreal, JD Drake, Prince Ahmed, Logan Black, Jay Bougie, Carlito, Caribbean Cool. The list goes on and on. Anytime this man is in a territory and a big name comes, he's the guy who they put him up against. Holds titles all over the Eastern region, Northeast, Tri-State, especially in New York. He holds court like no other. And now he's here in Green Mountain Wrestling.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this next contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is brought to us by our tag team partner in Forbin's Finest, available on 21 Metro Way number 8 in Barre, Vermont. Introducing first competitor number 1 in this corner, coming from his natural habitat, weighing in at 175 pounds, the Rabid Honey Badger, Ryan Mooney!
He got tired of people telling him what kind of person to be, so he just decided to be an animal.
And introducing his opponent in this corner, coming from Syracuse, New York, weighing in at 209 pounds, the Moonlight Son, Mike Skyros.
Looking to channel his inner Jake Lockley tonight, Ryan Mooney needs to beware. And before we get going, of course, I want to give a big shout out to our tag team partner for this matchup, none other than Forbin's Finest, claiming to supply Vermont with the finest cannabis around. They only bring in high quality stuff checked over by high quality people. Either head directly into Forbin's Reserve Dispensary in Barre, Vermont, or skip the line and order ahead of time on ForbinsFinest.com. Trust me, you can smell the difference. You won't be disappointed. Thanks so much to Forbin's for being a sponsor on tonight's show. And the hush fell over the crowd for just a moment because I think they can feel the tension between these two. So I don't know if it's pulling apart aside or what, but these two, this is not the first time they've been in the ring before. These two have faced each other before, and the last time they were in the ring against each other, Skyros came out on top. He defended a title that he held at the time. Mooney was not able to defeat him, and I know Skyros is going to keep that in mind. I know that it's going to make him confident. It's going to make him believe that he has this in the bag. It's just a matter of time before the bell rings and the match is over and his arm is held high. But Mooney, he is not one to be psyched out. Look at this. This isn't a dude whose head you can get into. Would you want to get into this guy's head? God knows what's in there. But Ryan Mooney, the Rabid Honey Badger, is not intimidated easily. And he's had his share of wins and losses. But he was trained very well in the Ring of Honor dojo to be able to look past those losses and still have the confidence in himself to be able to come even harder, even stronger the next time. And he, of course, he's clearly not backing down now. Collar and elbow tie-up. Skyros decides to go for the arm. Wrist control. Mooney rolls through. Right back up to his feet, turns it around. And Skyros, now held at bay by the Rabid Honey Badger. Unconventional headbutt to the wrist while he has it bent up like that. Hammerlock into a headlock. Headlock takeover, and Mooney rolls right through with it. Thought he was going with a pinning combination, but decides to grab the leg, and Skyros knew exactly what to do at that moment. Went right over to the ropes.
He's scared of the Honey Badger. I'm not scared. You are scared.
Skyros pleading his case. I don't know if the crowd believes him. Look, I know how it looks. Skyros ain't one to be afraid of anybody or anything. But who knows? I mean, when you're in the ring against Ryan Mooney, the inability to guess what he's going to do next maybe will put you at a disadvantage. Maybe will put you a little bit on the defensive. Perhaps a little bit of fear creeps into the psyche. Hammerlock. Mooney gets out of it. Turns it into a headlock. Top wrist lock reversal by Mike Skyros. Beautifully done. And this is just top-notch fundamentals on display by both men. These are two guys that know how to wrestle. And they just showed that to each other. Beautiful takedown by the Rabid Honey Badger. Skyros keeps him close, however. Immediately into a defensive position, putting him back into the offense. Rolling out of it, Mooney. Into that front face lock. Laces the fingers up. While in the headlock, Skyros wasn't able to see what Mooney was doing. That was excellently done. Has control of the arm now. Pressure on the shoulder. Sends him out, but Mooney right back in now. Skyros comes at him. Gets the leg picked one more time, but kicks him back. Misses with a kick. And masticating the posterior, just like Ryan Mooney is known to do from time to time. I mean, we all know you're not supposed to bite. But what a place to do it. Jeez. Rolls through the penny combination, goes for the arm once again, trying to lock up that shoulder, and comes down in a bad position across that tricep. Trying to open up that elbow, and a nasty kick right across the chest.
Territory!
Did you say he's gonna mark his territory? No, he said it's Honey Badger territory. Okay. I don't want him to mark any territory around here. There's been some weird smells around the perimeter of the building today. I wouldn't put it past him.
Who's the scaredy cat now? You
Sounds a little bit on the defensive, if you ask me. Sends Mooney to the ropes. Mooney. Up and over, quick. Change of direction. Causes the confusion. Skyros doesn't know where to look. And now he's looking up at the lights. Skyros gets out of dodge smartly. Mooney had him at every turn there. Oh, wait a minute. Mooney has something in mind off the ropes. Out of the way just in time, but Mooney changed it up as well. Mooney up to the apron. Kick right across the chest. Knocks the breath out of the ribcage of the Moonlight Son, Mike Skyros. And you can see him, the look of shock and anguish on his face. Oh, man. What a backbreak, digging the claws into the skin of Mike Skyros. That's something you can always bet on when these two meet inside the ring, is that the viciousness is just going to be off the charts. Oh my God! Holy smokes! The sound of shattering metacarpals ringing through the building of the Elks Lodge in Barre. And a fan kindly helping out Ryan Mooney. I mean, that's a disadvantage of pissing off the fans, Skyros. It's a byproduct of it. You're going to get the fans to start helping your opponent. Oh, no! Taking a bite out of the scalp. Skyros is down. Mooney taking a quick sip. A little bit of refreshment. Gotta hydrate, folks. Skyros sent back in. Fun fact, Ryan Mooney had his very first TV appearance against Cody Rhodes. Rhodes is doing a little something nowadays. Skyros angry about the dishevelment of his hairstyle. Dishevelment, is that a word? Screw it, I'm going with it. Dishevelment. If it's not real, I just made it up. I just created vocabulary. That's what I do here on commentary. Shoulder block into the midsection. Trying to drive the air out of the frame of Ryan Mooney. Reversal into the corner. But Skyros, the balance on display, brings the boots down. And a pump kick takes Mooney off his feet. I kind of like that. They're calling Ryan Mooney Honey instead of Honey Badger. That's, I mean, you know, showing some affection. I like it. Valentine's Day is coming up. I dig it. That's nice. Not nice is how Ryan Mooney is getting choked on the middle rope here by Mike Skyros. Definitely not getting any Valentines for that.
No one cares if you think you're a child.
Skyros get mean. That's just mean, man. It's just mean. Troy Locke earlier on tonight scaring the child. Now he's yelling and telling a child that she doesn't matter. They don't matter because they're a child. Not cool. Here comes Ryan Mooney. Oh, 2 more boots to the chest, however. Mike Skyros able to cut off the momentum at every turn here. Brutality unmatched. Thanks to his early training from Brute Van Slyke in the Brute Squad dojo.
I ain't hearing you right over there.
And a boot right to the midsection. Keeps it there for a moment. Just to drive the impact home.
Yeah, that's fine. Kick your butt. No, he won't.
Pulling Mooney back up to his feet. Skyros challenging a child to come into the ring. Ryan Mooney falling flat, trying to get his weight down to a lower center of gravity to keep this from happening. It does so. Quick roll up. Goes for the pin. Not enough. Skyros back up to his feet. Backslide. Pinning combination. No, still not enough. Boot to the midsection again. Whoa, 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 whoa. Quick reversal. Turns it around. Shoulders on the back. No. Backdrop by Skyros. Once again, cutting off the momentum. Goes for the pin now. And Mooney just can't get anything going here. And look at this, modified camel clutch here. Pulling up on an awkward angle. The angle here twisting the spine into a position that it's not supposed to go in. Innovative stuff here by the Moonlight Son. You can see Mooney in agony in this one. Finally getting out and biting his way back up to his feet. Mooney's got himself a black belt in karate and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he didn't learn biting like that from those places. You don't need a black belt to know how to take a chunk out of somebody's flesh. Actually, I've never been in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes, so I don't know. Maybe that may be just something I don't know about. Who knows? And no matter how many times or places Mooney gets to take a bite out of Skyros, Skyros still able to keep the punishment going. Knee placed in between the shoulder blades, yanking both arms back, stretching that rib cage out, making it difficult to take a deep breath, potentially causing panic. Making his way back up to his feet, but Skyros keeps him in position. Mooney is beaten down. He is weary. Now making his way back up to his feet, trying to turn this around. The strength of both men being tested by each other. All the way back around. Nice mule kick by the Rabid Honey Badger. The animalistic instincts coming to the forefront. Skyros coming in, eating an elbow. Off the ropes now. Popped up into a Ron Simmons spine buster.
Ron Simmons!
Yeah, right!
Just said that. You heard me. Still, not enough to keep Mooney down.
You just respect, you don't kick out of Ron Simmons like that.
Ron Simmons would laugh at you if he ever saw you.
No, he didn't. He's my friend.
He actually is. He actually is Skyros' friend. They've gotten along. They've done business together. They've can't take that away from him. And a boot scrape across the face.
Ain't nothing compared to me, kid.
And now disrespecting Mooney. Not caring where he came from. Not caring about the 6 years that he's been in the business, where he's honed his craft, who he's been up against. Doesn't care. Says he's better than him. Says he's nothing. Skyros. Brutal. Vicious. But now that boot is caught. And Mooney, one more time, having a bite, taking a little mid-match snack. Blocks the clothesline, sends some kicks and chops Skyros' way. Across the chest. Brutal combination. Finally putting the brakes on the momentum train that Skyros had going. That man spoken to, soon reversal by Skyros. Mooney ducks the clothesline, comes up with a Luthez press. Raining down blows on the head of Skyros. Catches the clothesline, turns him around, neck breaker. Mooney chaining together the offense like a pro. Now across the ring, waiting for his opponent to get to a standing base. In comes Mooney, flying forearm. Sends him to the opposite corner. Display of balance, see it again. Wait a minute. Mooney saw that one too many times, knew how to counter it, and now Skyros is reeling. Sunset bomb into the corner. Come on. Mooney's feeling it, looking for the finish, heading to the top ropes. Skyros doesn't see it. Mooney at the top. Holy smokes. Shades of his trainer delirious. And still not enough. Skyros just has so much fuel in that tank. Seemingly endless amount of fight in this man. Oh no, the knee pads are coming down. No protection on those knees any longer. Here he comes. No, Skyros sees it coming. Wait a minute, reversal. Quick roll up by Mooney. into it. Turns him around. Another pinning combination. Keeping Skyros on his toes. Mooney coming in. Drop kick in the corner. Skyros is in trouble here. Mooney senses the end is near. Back up to the top, has something else in mind. Skyros prone on the ground. Splash. Forearm across the face. This could be it. No. Both of these men have endured incredible amounts of punishment. How either of these guys are still going is beyond me. Yet they continue. Neither man willing to give it up. Neither man willing to submit or allow their shoulders to be on the mat for more than 2 3/4 seconds. Refusing to give up. Grinding their way back up. Skyros trying to push Mooney off of him. Mooney relentless. Nasty forearms, back and forth now. 2 old school gladiators on their knees in the middle of the ring, just teeing off on each other. You can hear those shots from a mile away. Slaps, chops, strikes, fights! Skyros pulling a page out of Mooney's playbook. But now Mooney driving his opponent into the ground with headbutt after headbutt. Mooney comes in with a wild clothesline, blocked by Skyros in return with a nasty kick behind the ear. Mooney to the outside. Any of these blows can immediately eliminate the last of the energy they have left. Trying for a suplex back into the ring. Mooney holds on, fights back, shots in the midsection. Reversal attempted unsuccessfully. Oh! Gabagiri right to the side of the head. Mooney now, shoulder into the midsection by Skyros. Mooney's feeling it once again. Go for the sunset flip. Trying to get Skyros down. Wait, Skyros drops. Oh, he's got it. He grabbed the rope. He grabbed the rope. Referee never saw it. Skyros close enough to the ropes that he was able to grab on, giving himself some extra leverage. Referee never saw it. Mooney couldn't kick out. He could have stayed there for a count of 100. When you're in that position, there's no way you're getting out as long as your opponent is grabbing onto that rope. Skyros knows all the tricks, and he pulled them all out this time. What a huge win for Mike Skyros at his Green Mountain Wrestling debut. Skyros demanding to have his hand raised by the referee here. Crowd does not like to see it, but they have to accept it. He may have done it in a questionable manner, but Skyros was able to pick up a big win tonight. Clark Dion in with a microphone.
Nobody asked you, lady.
Crowd here at the Barre Elks Lodge telling Skyros exactly what they think of him.
Hey, are you gonna let me talk? No!
I mean, you ask a question, you get an answer.
I want them removed. I need to speak to the people. No, it's fine. I'll go over here. Hey, there's nothing like a good, clean victory to start my debut off. So, I'm a person who happens to know some people, and some people have been telling me they're getting ready to crown a heavyweight champion around here in Vermont, Green Mountain Wrestling. So, I think I'm gonna stick around a little bit, put my name in the hat for that heavyweight belt. So you guys can get ready and get excited to see a whole lot more of the Moonlight Son.
And another top talent claiming their stake, putting their name in the ring for when the title is introduced here at Green Mountain Wrestling. This is not a guy you want in those talks. Skyros will do whatever it takes. He's a belt collector. He's a man that knows how to get the gold and keep it around his waist. This means nothing but trouble for Green Mountain Wrestling. Folks, stick around. Plenty more action to come on WinterSlam right here at the Barre Elks. Green Mountain Wrestling continue.